the world's most generous people. The power of philanthropy, changing lives, changing the world. In a world where inequality, poverty, and suffering are still prevalent, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed or powerless. Yet, philanthropy is one of the most effective ways to create lasting change and inspire hope. Philanthropy, in its essence, is the desire to promote the welfare of others, expressed primarily through generous donations of money, time, or resources. But beyond the financial aspect, philanthropy is a powerful tool to build stronger communities, tackle global challenges, and bring meaning and fulfillment into our lives. Why philanthropy matters. The impact of philanthropy is profound and accessible to all. Whether you donate a few dollars to a local charity, volunteer at a community shelter, or invest in large-scale global initiatives, every act of giving has a ripple effect that can positively impact lives. Philanthropy isn't just for the wealthy. It's a universal way for anyone, regardless of income level, to be part of something bigger. Consider how philanthropic efforts often drive many of the world's greatest societal advancements, such as improved healthcare, access to education, and environmental protection. Organizations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which works to eradicate diseases and alleviate poverty, or the countless grassroots movements supporting local education and healthcare, all stand as testaments to the profound change that philanthropy can ignite. You don't need to be a billionaire to make a difference. One of the most common misconceptions about philanthropy is that it's only for the rich. While high-net-worth individuals often make headlines for large donations, anyone can be a philanthropist. The real power of philanthropy lies in collective action. Small donations, when combined, can have an enormous impact. A few dollars donated to a food bank might provide a meal to a hungry family. A couple of hours spent mentoring a child could change the course of their future. By being part of this collective power, you can make a significant difference. It's also important to remember that philanthropy isn't just about money. Volunteering your time, sharing your skills, and advocating for causes you believe in are all invaluable forms of giving. Sometimes, your presence and involvement can make more of a difference than a monetary donation. Find a way to give that resonates with you and your circumstances. The personal rewards of giving. Engaging in philanthropy benefits those who receive it and offers immense rewards for the giver. Research has shown that those who give tend to feel happier, more fulfilled, and healthier. Giving connects us with others, strengthens our sense of purpose, and allows us to contribute to causes that align with our values. These personal rewards can inspire you to continue your philanthropic journey. Philanthropy also offers the chance to leave a lasting legacy. Your donations, time, and efforts can help build a better future for future generations. Whether it's supporting educational programs, contributing to environmental sustainability, or helping eradicate diseases, your contributions have the potential to create lasting change. How to get started. If you're wondering how to start your philanthropic journey, it's simpler than you think. Here are a few tips to help you begin. Identify causes you care about. Consider the issues that most matter to you. Is it education, healthcare, environmental sustainability? Once you've identified your passion, research organizations that align with your values. Start small. You don't need to make huge donations or devote every weekend to volunteer work. Start with small, manageable contributions. Even a little bit can go a long way. Volunteer your time. If financial giving isn't feasible right now, your time can be just as valuable. Many organizations rely heavily on volunteers to carry out their work. Engage in advocacy. Sometimes your voice can be as powerful as your wallet. Advocate for causes you believe in by raising awareness, signing petitions, or engaging with policymakers. Encourage others to give. Philanthropy thrives on community spirit. Inspire others around you to join in. Whether through a fundraising event, an online campaign, or simply leading by example, your influence can multiply your impact. The world needs you. In a world filled with challenges, it's easy to feel that our efforts are insignificant, but the truth is, that every contribution counts. Your generosity, no matter how small, can change lives and inspire others to do the same. Together, through philanthropy, we can create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. So don't wait for someone else to step in. You have the power to make a difference, and the world needs people like you to step up and take action. Philanthropy is not just about giving, it's about hope, compassion, and the belief that a better future is possible for everyone. Despite having died in 1904, Jamsetji Tata retains the title of the world's most generous philanthropist. A pioneering Indian industrialist, Jamsetji founded the Tata Group and remained committed to making a positive societal impact with his company and his wealth throughout his life. Success and wealth often go hand in hand, but for those who share these dual privileges, they feed into another consequential attribute: philanthropy. Many of the world's most affluent and successful individuals and families recognize that their prosperity can have far-reaching consequences for improving lives. Whether through the accumulation of generational wealth or individual success, when your bank account reaches a certain level, it is customary to seek avenues to give back and fund initiatives or programs to lift those less fortunate. Even with the commitment of a small percentage, the impact can be immense. Jamsetji Tata, contributions or donations to charities, research programs, educational foundations, or climate change action groups can sustain vital support, develop new life-saving technology, invent cures to terminal or chronic illnesses, and combat the erosion of the planet, all of which will help to safeguard a bright future for generations to come. Looking for some philanthropic inspiration? Here are the stories of the world's top philanthropists and what causes matter most. Amount given: $102.4 billion. Causes: education, healthcare. Despite having died in 1904, Jamsetji Tata retains the title of the world's most generous philanthropist. A pioneering Indian industrialist, Jamsetji founded the Tata Group and remained committed to making a positive societal impact with his company and his wealth throughout his life. Jamsetji Nusserwanji Tata, often called the father of Indian industry, was a visionary who laid the foundation for modern industrialization in India. Born on March 3, 1839, in Navsari, Gujarat, Jamsetji's story is a testament to remarkable foresight, tenacity, and a deep love for his country. His life was dedicated to transforming India from a primarily agricultural society into a significant industrial power long before independence from British rule. Early life and education. Coming from a family of Parsi priests, Jamsetji Tata's father, Nusserwanji Tata, broke tradition by becoming a trader. This early exposure to entrepreneurship would later shape Jamsetji's vision for India. His education in Bombay and at Elphinstone College, where he was influenced by Western ideals of progress, science, and industry, played a significant role in his future endeavors. He graduated in 1858, a time when India was undergoing a significant transformation after the Sepoy Mutiny. Jamsetji Tata's early education exposed him to a variety of ideas, but it was his travels abroad that ignited his interest in industry and commerce. His trips to Europe, America, and other parts of the world revealed the stark contrast in industrial development between these regions and India. Despite India's rich natural resources, it was lagging behind and heavily dependent on British imports. Jamsetji saw this not just as an economic disadvantage, but as a form of oppression that kept India under colonial subjugation. This realization fueled his determination to industrialize India and generate wealth for its people. Early business ventures. Jamsetji's first foray into business came when he joined his father's trading firm. He traveled extensively, learning the intricacies of the cotton and textile trade, which was booming at the time. India was one of the largest cotton producers, but most of the cotton was shipped to England, spun into cloth, and sold back to India at exorbitant prices. This glaring imbalance fueled Jamsetji's desire to create industries that could process raw materials domestically and generate wealth for Indians rather than exporting that wealth to Britain. In 1868, Jamsetji founded a trading company under his name, marking the beginning of his independent ventures. His first major industrial enterprise was the establishment of a textile mill in Nagpur in 1874, called the Empress Mill, named in honor of Queen Victoria, who had just been proclaimed Empress of India. But the mill wasn't just a commercial endeavor, but part of Jamsetji's larger vision of industrializing India. He introduced innovations like employee welfare schemes, accident insurance, and high-quality machinery imported from England. A vision for India. Jamsetji Tata was not content with just making money. He wanted to use his wealth and influence to shape India's future. His dreams extended far beyond textiles, and in the late 19th century, he began laying the groundwork for some of India's most significant industrial and educational initiatives. His vision encompassed three monumental projects: setting up an iron and steel plant, establishing a world-class academic institution, and harnessing hydroelectric power for the country. These were not just ambitious projects, but they were also a testament to his unwavering determination and ambition. The Steel Dream. At a time when the British believed that India was incapable of producing steel, Jamsetji Tata was adamant that the country had the resources and talent to build a thriving steel industry. His travels to the United States and Europe to study steel manufacturing and his consultations with experts like American geologist Charles Page Perrin and German metallurgist Gustav Weiernicke demonstrated his foresight. Despite facing ridicule and skepticism from British officials and engineers, Jamsetji persisted, determined to make his vision a reality. Although Jamsetji did not live to see it, his dream was realized when his son, Dorabji Tata, established the Tata Iron and Steel Company, TISCO, in 1907, later becoming Tata Steel. It was the first steel plant in India and marked the beginning of India's journey towards self-sufficiency in heavy industry. The Indian Institute of Science, education and research were also central to Jamsetji's vision for India's future. He believed that India needed a world-class institution where Indian students could pursue scientific and technological education. In 1892, he set aside much of his wealth to establish such an institution. He wrote to Swami Vivekananda, who was then traveling in the United States, expressing his desire to create an institution that would promote original research and scientific innovation in India. The result of Jamsetji's vision was the Indian Institute of Science, IISC, in Bangalore, which existed after he died in 1911. The IISC has since become one of India's premier research institutions, producing generations of scientists and engineers who have contributed to the nation's development. Hydroelectric power. Jamsetji also recognized the importance of energy for industrial growth. He believed that the future of India's industrialization depended on a reliable and affordable power source. In the late 19th century, coal was the primary energy source. Still, Jamsetji saw hydroelectric power potential, especially in a country like India, which had vast river systems and high rainfall. He began work on the first hydroelectric power plant in India, located near Bombay. Although this project also came to fruition after his death, it demonstrated Jamsetji's ability to anticipate the needs of a growing industrial economy. Legacy and impact. Jamsetji Tata passed away in 1904, but his legacy endures in the form of the Tata Group, one of India's largest and most respected conglomerates. Today, the Tata Group has interests in a wide range of industries, including steel, automobiles, information technology, telecommunications, hospitality, and chemicals. The values that Jamsetji instilled in the company, integrity, social responsibility, and a commitment to innovation, continue to guide its operations. Beyond the success of his business ventures, Jamsetji's most significant legacy is his contribution to India's development. He was a firm believer in the idea that industry should serve society, and he practiced this belief throughout his life. His commitment to employee welfare, emphasis on education and scientific research, and vision for a self-reliant India have profoundly impacted the country's trajectory. Jamsetji Tata's life is a testament to the power of vision and perseverance. At a time when India was under the yoke of colonial rule, he dared to dream of a future in which India would be a significant industrial power. He understood that true independence could only be achieved when India had the capacity to produce its own goods and generate its own wealth. His contributions to Indian industry, education, and social welfare have not only earned him a place as one of the most significant figures in India's modern history, but also instilled a sense of hope and optimism for India's future. In conclusion, Jamsetji Tata was more than just an industrialist. He was a visionary who saw a nation's potential and worked tirelessly to unlock it. His life's work laid the foundation for modern India, and his legacy inspires future generations of entrepreneurs, engineers, and leaders. Bill Gates amount. Given, 75.8 billion causes: healthcare, extreme poverty, education, access to information technology. Along with his ex-wife Melinda, Bill runs the highly impactful Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has operated since 2000. Its work includes funding scholarships, sanitation efforts in developing countries, and medical research, including research and vaccine development for COVID-19. Bill Gates and the quest for the perfect pizza. Bill Gates sat in his office, staring at a sleek monitor displaying lines of code. The world's problems were at his fingertips: climate change, global health, education reform. But none of these pressing issues occupied his thoughts at the moment. Instead, his mind was fixated on something far more personal: pizza. Bill had been content with ordinary pizza, delivered in cardboard boxes, a predictable array of pepperoni, cheese, and mushrooms for decades. But as a man known for pushing the boundaries of what was possible, it suddenly occurred to him he had never truly experienced the perfect pizza. "Why should I settle for mediocrity?" Bill muttered to himself, spinning his office chair around. The thought struck like a lightning bolt. What if he could create the ultimate pizza? A pizza so perfectly optimized that it would balance flavor, texture, and nutrition in ways no one had ever tasted before. He picked up his smartphone and dialed an old friend. "Hey, Jeff," he said when Bezos answered. "You ever think about how pizza could be better?" Jeff Bezos was silent on the other end for a moment. "Bill, I'm kind of busy with space stuff right now. But yeah, I guess pizza could be better. What's your point?" "I'm going to make the perfect pizza. You want in?" Sure, but shouldn't you be working on global warming or something?" "I am," Bill said enthusiastically. "This is just a side project. Anyway, I'll get back to you. Got some coding to do." Gates hung up and immediately began sketching out a plan. The first step is data. He needed data from all the pizza chains, artisanal pizzerias, and little mom-and-pop shops in Italy, New York, Chicago, everywhere. Only by understanding what humanity had already done with pizza could he improve upon it. He opened a new program on his computer and began writing algorithms. He'd hacked into thousands of pizza delivery systems worldwide within an hour. The data poured in: crust thicknesses, topping combinations, cheese-to-sauce ratios, and baking temperatures. He cross-referenced user reviews from Yelp, social media, and random food blogs. Soon, Bill Gates was swimming in pizza metrics. "Okay, this is step one," he mumbled, "but I need a test kitchen." At this point, Bill realized he needed someone to help him execute the culinary side. Enter Gordon Ramsay. Bill didn't hesitate when reaching out to famous people, so he sent a private jet to pick up the fiery chef from his latest restaurant opening in Dubai. When Ramsay arrived at Bill's sleek mansion, Gates greeted him in front of a gigantic whiteboard filled with complex equations and a list of pizza ingredients. "Bill, what the bloody hell is this?" Ramsay barked, his face a mix of confusion and bemusement. Pizza math, Bill said with a grin. We're going to create the best pizza ever. You brought me across the globe to make pizza? You could have just ordered a margarita from the shop around the corner, mate. No, no, no. This is bigger than that. We will optimize every part of the process, from the dough to the baking time. I've got data from 1,048 pizzerias around the world. I know what people like, and I know what they hate. Ramsey crossed his arms, narrowing his eyes at Bill. Right. So where do I come in then? You want me to curse at the pizza until it's perfect? Bill chuckled. I need your culinary expertise. I know the science, but you know the art. After some grumbling, Ramsey agreed to join the project. They set up shop in Bill's state-of-the-art kitchen, which, as it turned out, had more technology than most small countries. Robotic arms stretched out over countertops, 3D printers stood at the ready to create precise cheese molds, and the ovens could be controlled with pinpoint accuracy. The next few days were a blur of flour, tomatoes, and furious arguing. Bill insisted on adjusting the dough hydration levels based on statistical analysis, while Ramsey would shout, "It's too bloody wet, Bill!" You can't compute taste. Despite the chaos, something magical started to happen. The first hint of perfection appeared as they fine-tuned the sauce recipe, using a mixture of heirloom tomatoes sourced from Sicily, Himalayan sea salt, and a pinch of something Ramsey refused to reveal. The crust, cooked to 372.3 degrees Fahrenheit for precisely 7.45 minutes, was crisp on the outside yet airy inside. On day 5, after countless failed attempts, the pizza sat before them on the granite countertop, glistening with just the right amount of olive oil. Bill took a bite. Then Ramsey took a bite. There was silence. He had nothing to yell about for the first time in Gordon Ramsay's career. His mouth opened, but no words came out. It was perfect. The flavors danced in harmony. The ratio of cheese to sauce to toppings was sublime. Bill, too, was at a loss for words. He had spent billions trying to solve the world's problems, but this pizza was something else. It was as if every successful line of code he'd ever written, every business venture, every philanthropic endeavor had all led him to this one moment of culinary triumph. "Bill," Ramsey finally said, "you mad genius. You've done it. You've cracked the pizza code." Bill grinned. "I told you. It's all about optimization." The story of Bill Gates's perfect pizza quickly spread. Soon, the wealthiest and most influential people were clamoring for a slice. Elon Musk wanted to put the pizza in space. Mark Zuckerberg suggested integrating it with virtual reality. Bill wasn't sure how that would work, but he nodded politely. Even Warren Buffett, a fan of simple food, declared it the best thing he'd ever eaten. Bill could have patented the recipe, started a global pizza chain, and made billions more. But instead, he shared it with the world. He uploaded the formula online for anyone to use, along with a lengthy blog post about how optimizing pizza was a metaphor for tackling global challenges. "Life," Bill wrote, "is like pizza. It's all about getting the right balance, and sometimes you need to experiment until you find it." Gordon Ramsay, for his part, went back to his restaurants, but occasionally he'd wink knowingly at Bill during interviews when people asked him about the best pizza he'd ever tasted. As for Bill, he returned to working on significant issues, curing diseases, tackling climate change, and improving education. But every Friday night, without fail, he'd make that perfect pizza, sit back in his favorite chair, and think about how sometimes, even for a tech genius, the simple things in life bring the most satisfaction. Warren Buffett, amount given, 46.1 billion causes, healthcare, education, AIDS prevention, sanitation. Warren Buffett is one of the world's most prolific philanthropists and has pledged to give away more than 99% of his wealth. This kind-hearted nonagenarian donates billions yearly to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and co-founded the Giving Pledge with Gates. The legacy of Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha. In the heart of Nebraska, far from the bustling streets of Wall Street, lives a man whose name has become synonymous with wealth, wisdom, and humility. Warren Edward Buffett, born on August 30th, 1930 in Omaha, may not have had the beginnings of a billionaire. Still, his life embodies perseverance, long-term thinking, and a relentless drive to understand the art of investing. Warren Buffett's journey into the world of business began with a spark of curiosity. Even at a young age, he demonstrated a keen mind and an entrepreneurial spirit. By the tender age of 6, he was already selling packs of chewing gum and bottles of Coca-Cola door to door. At 11, while most kids were dreaming about their next baseball game, Buffett made his first investment, purchasing 3 shares of Citi Service Preferred for himself and his sister. This early display of business acumen was just the beginning of his lifelong love affair with investing. As a teenager, Buffett continued to fuel his passion for business, reading everything he could get his hands on about the stock market and investments. His favorite book, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, would later become a cornerstone in his investment philosophy. He often credits Graham's ideas of value investing, the concept of buying undervalued stocks that would provide long-term returns, as one of the most influential principles that guided him. After high school, Buffett attended the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania before transferring to the University of Nebraska. He later pursued a master's degree at Columbia Business School, where he met his mentor, Benjamin Graham. After graduating, Buffett worked briefly for Graham's firm before returning to Omaha to start his investment partnerships. It was in Omaha that Buffett truly began building his empire. In 1962, he acquired a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. Most people would have left the business, but Buffett had a different vision. Over the years, he transformed Berkshire Hathaway from a failing textile mill into a holding company that would become one of the largest conglomerates in the world. Today, it owns or has significant stakes in companies like Geico, Duracell, Dairy Queen, American Express, and Coca-Cola. Berkshire Hathaway's stock is famously one of the most expensive on the market, with shares sometimes trading for hundreds of thousands of dollars each. Despite his immense wealth, Warren Buffett is known for his frugality and grounded lifestyle. He still resides in the modest house he purchased in 1958 for $31,500. He drives his car, enjoys eating at McDonald's, and doesn't indulge in the lavish lifestyle one might expect from a man worth billions. His humility and down-to-earth nature are some of the most admired aspects of his character, often setting him apart from other high-profile billionaires. Warren Buffett's investment strategy is both simple and brilliant. Buy good companies at fair prices and hold on to them long-term. He firmly believes in the power of compound interest and once said, "The stock market is designed to transfer money from the active to the patient." His patience and disciplined approach have consistently outperformed the market for decades, a testament to the effectiveness of his strategy. One of the most moving aspects of Warren Buffett's character is his generosity. In 2006, he made a historic announcement, pledging to donate the majority of his wealth to charity. This act of philanthropy, the largest in history at the time, saw most of the funds directed to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Buffett's belief that wealth should be used to better society, not just accumulate more, has inspired many other billionaires to follow suit, leading to the Giving Pledge, a commitment by the world's wealthiest individuals to donate most of their wealth to philanthropic causes. While Warren Buffett's wealth is certainly impressive, it is his wisdom that truly stands out. His annual letters to shareholders have become legendary, filled with profound insights about business, investing, and life. His ability to distill complex financial concepts into simple, understandable terms has endeared him to millions of investors, from seasoned professionals to beginners, and left them feeling enlightened by his wisdom. Buffett has always valued personal integrity and has often spoken about the importance of reputation in business and life. One of his famous quotes is, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it." If you think about that, you'll do things differently. This emphasis on honesty and trustworthiness is a key reason why people admire him, not just for his financial success, but also for his character. Despite his age, Warren Buffett remains as active and engaged as ever. Along with his longtime business partner, Charlie Munger, who is well into his 90s, Buffett continues to lead Berkshire Hathaway and provide guidance to investors worldwide. His ability to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing economic landscape is a testament to his intelligence, foresight, and experience. In addition to his business acumen, Buffett is known for his sense of humor and love of teaching. He often jokes that his favorite holding period for a stock is forever, and he famously said, "Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. His down-to-earth, relatable approach has endeared him to millions of people who might never set foot in a Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting but feel they know the man personally through his words and actions. Warren Buffett's influence extends far beyond the world of finance. He is a symbol of the American dream, proof that success doesn't come overnight, but through hard work, smart decisions, and unwavering principles. His life serves as a reminder that wealth is not just about money, but also about how we use our time, our talents, and our resources to make the world a better place. As Warren Buffett continues to lead Berkshire Hathaway and inspire the next generation of investors, his legacy will undoubtedly endure. He has changed how people think about investing and wealth, and his impact will be felt for generations. Whether through his financial achievements, philanthropy, or wisdom, Warren Buffett's story is one of vision, determination, and, above all, integrity. At 94, the Oracle of Omaha still stands as a beacon of what is possible when one combines talent, curiosity, and a deep understanding of human behavior. And as he's often said, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Warren Buffett has lived by that philosophy and helped others realize that the true measure of wealth lies not in what we accumulate, but in what we give back. George Soros, amount given, $32 billion, causes, healthcare, anti-fascist publications, human rights, economic, legal, and social reform. A passionate and open-minded individual, George Soros is committed to using his substantial resources to fight the injustices inherent in much of modern society, including human rights, economic disparity, criminal injustice, and the rise of authoritarianism. His Open Society foundations work on various causes to tackle the problems of the day. Despite his immense wealth, Warren Buffett is known for his frugality and grounded lifestyle. He still resides in the modest house he purchased in 1958 for $31,500. He drives his car, enjoys eating at McDonald's, and doesn't indulge in the lavish lifestyle one might expect from a man worth billions. His humility and down-to-earth nature are some of the most admired aspects of his character, often setting him apart from other high-profile billionaires. Warren Buffett's investment strategy is both simple and brilliant. Buy good companies at fair prices and hold on to them long-term. He firmly believes in the power of compound interest and once said, "The stock market is designed to transfer money from the active to the patient." His patience and disciplined approach have consistently outperformed the market for decades, a testament to the effectiveness of his strategy. One of the most moving aspects of Warren Buffett's character is his generosity. In 2006, he made a historic announcement, pledging to donate the majority of his wealth to charity. This act of philanthropy, the largest in history at the time, saw most of the funds directed to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Buffett's belief that wealth should be used to better society, not just accumulate more, has inspired many other billionaires to follow suit, leading to the Giving Pledge, a commitment by the world's wealthiest individuals to donate most of their wealth to philanthropic causes. While Warren Buffett's wealth is certainly impressive, it is his wisdom that truly stands out. His annual letters to shareholders have become legendary, filled with profound insights about business, investing, and life. His ability to distill complex financial concepts into simple, understandable terms has endeared him to millions of investors, from seasoned professionals to beginners, and left them feeling enlightened by his wisdom. Buffett has always valued personal integrity and has often spoken about the importance of reputation in business and life. One of his famous quotes is, "It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it." If you think about that, you'll do things differently. This emphasis on honesty and trustworthiness is a key reason why people admire him, not just for his financial success, but also for his character. Despite his age, Warren Buffett remains as active and engaged as ever. Along with his longtime business partner, Charlie Munger, who is well into his 90s, Buffett continues to lead Berkshire Hathaway and provide guidance to investors worldwide. His ability to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing economic landscape is a testament to his intelligence, foresight, and experience. In addition to his business acumen, Buffett is known for his sense of humor and love of teaching. He often jokes that his favorite holding period for a stock is forever, and he famously said, "Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. His down-to-earth, relatable approach has endeared him to millions of people who might never set foot in a Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting but feel they know the man personally through his words and actions. Warren Buffett's influence extends far beyond the world of finance. He is a symbol of the American dream, proof that success doesn't come overnight, but through hard work, smart decisions, and unwavering principles. His life serves as a reminder that wealth is not just about money, but also about how we use our time, our talents, and our resources to make the world a better place. As Warren Buffett continues to lead Berkshire Hathaway and inspire the next generation of investors, his legacy will undoubtedly endure. He has changed how people think about investing and wealth, and his impact will be felt for generations. Whether through his financial achievements, philanthropy, or wisdom, Warren Buffett's story is one of vision, determination, and, above all, integrity. At 94, the Oracle of Omaha still stands as a beacon of what is possible when one combines talent, curiosity, and a deep understanding of human behavior. And as he's often said, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Warren Buffett has lived by that philosophy and helped others realize that the true measure of wealth lies not in what we accumulate, but in what we give back. George Soros, amount given, $32 billion, causes, healthcare, anti-fascist publications, human rights, economic, legal, and social reform. A passionate and open-minded individual, George Soros is committed to using his substantial resources to fight the injustices inherent in much of modern society, including human rights, economic disparity, criminal injustice, and the rise of authoritarianism. His Open Society foundations work on various causes to tackle the problems of the day. George Soros, a name that stirs intense debates and fuels numerous conspiracy theories, is a man whose real-life story is as fascinating as the fables spun around him. Born on August 12, 1930, in Budapest, Hungary, Soros's journey from a young boy growing up during the turmoil of World War II to becoming one of the world's most influential financiers and philanthropists is nothing short of remarkable. Early life and survival. George Soros was born as Georgi Schwartz to a Jewish family in Hungary. The world he was born into was about to be shaken to its core. In 1944, when Soros was just 13 years old, Nazi Germany occupied Hungary. As Jews faced persecution and deportation to concentration camps, Soros's father, Tivadar, a lawyer, made the difficult decision to split the family and acquire forged documents to disguise their identities. He understood that survival required deception and caution. Young George was placed with a Christian family, and his father secured papers for him under the name of a Hungarian official. It was a time of immense fear, and when Soros learned valuable lessons about survival, risk, and adaptation. These experiences would later shape his worldview, one in which he often emphasized the importance of open societies and the need to defend human rights. Education and early career. After the war, Soros emigrated to England in 1947. There, he attended the London School of Economics, where he studied under the tutelage of philosopher Karl Popper. Popper's ideas about open societies and the fallibility of human knowledge greatly influenced Soros's thinking. Soros became captivated by the notion that no philosophy or ideology holds all the answers, a concept that would become central to his later philanthropic endeavors. In 1956, Soros moved to the United States, beginning his career in finance. After working for several investment firms, he founded his hedge fund in 1969, initially named the Quantum Fund. This began Soros's rise to prominence in the financial world. The Man Who Broke the Bank of England. One of the most famous chapters in Soros's life came in 1992. By then, Soros had amassed a fortune through his hedge fund and was known for his ability to speculate on global financial markets. Soros and his fund boldly bet that the British pound was overvalued in September that year. The United Kingdom was part of the European Exchange Rate Mechanism, ERM, which required them to maintain a fixed exchange rate between the pound and other European currencies. Soros predicted that the pound would be devalued due to mounting economic pressures. On September 16, 1992, a day now known as Black Wednesday, Soros's Quantum Fund executed a massive short sale of the pound, betting billions of dollars that the currency would fall in value. His gamble paid off. The British government was forced to withdraw from the ERM and devalue the pound. Soros reportedly made $1 billion in profit, earning him the nickname, the Man Who Broke the Bank of England. While Soros's financial coup was legal and based on an astute analysis of market conditions, it earned him both admiration and infamy. He became a symbol of the powerful financier capable of influencing national economies. His reputation as an intelligent and calculating investor grew, but so did the seeds of suspicion and conspiracy that would follow him for the rest of his life. Philanthropy and the Open Society Foundations. Despite, or perhaps because of, his immense wealth, Soros became increasingly focused on philanthropy in the latter half of his career. In 1979, he began giving scholarships to Black South African students during the apartheid regime. This began a lifelong commitment to advancing democracy, human rights, and social justice. In 1984, Soros founded the Open Society Foundation, OSF, to promote open societies where governments are accountable and individual rights are respected. The foundation has since grown into one of the world's largest philanthropic organizations, operating in over 120 countries. Soros's philanthropic focus has been supporting civil society, education, human rights, and political reform, particularly in post-communist countries in Eastern Europe. He played a vital role in the peaceful transitions to democracy in countries like Hungary, Poland, and Czechoslovakia after the fall of the Soviet Union. Soros's OSF has also funded efforts to combat corruption, promote public health, and support marginalized groups worldwide. The rise of conspiracy theories. With great power and influence often comes excellent scrutiny, which has sometimes taken on a sinister edge for Soros. Over the years, he has become a frequent target of conspiracy theories, many of them baseless and anti-Semitic in nature. His wealth, his Hungarian Jewish heritage, and his philanthropic efforts to promote liberal causes have made him a convenient scapegoat for populist and nationalist movements across the globe. Conspiracies range from the absurd, claiming Soros orchestrates global immigration waves, to the more infamous accusations that he seeks to control world governments through his philanthropy. Soros's support for progressive causes, including refugee rights, democratic reforms, and environmental activism, has made him a favorite villain for far-right movements and authoritarian regimes. The most persistent myth about Soros is that he operates behind the scenes, pulling strings in political affairs. While it's true that Soros has supported numerous political causes, particularly those promoting democratic values, the scale of his influence is often exaggerated or misrepresented. Many of his funded projects focus on grassroots activism and education aimed at empowering individuals rather than governments. Soros today. At 94 years old, Soros remains active, although he has stepped back from the day-to-day management of his philanthropic empire, passing much of that responsibility to his son, Alexander. Nonetheless, his vision for open societies continues to guide the Open Society Foundation's work. Soros's legacy is complex. To his supporters, he is a champion of human rights, democracy, and social justice. His billions have supported freedom fighters, marginalized groups, and democratic transitions worldwide. To his detractors, he is a symbol of unchecked globalism and liberal elitism, a puppet master controlling the fates of nations from the shadows. Regardless of one's view, there is no denying George Soros's impact on the world stage. From his days as a child evading Nazi persecution to becoming one of the most influential figures in finance and philanthropy, Soros's life story is a testament to the power of adaptability, intellect, and conviction. Soros leaves behind not just the wealth he accumulated or the institutions he helped shape, but also a continuing debate about the role of money, influence, and ideology in shaping the future of societies. Whether hero or villain, Soros's place in history is firmly cemented as a man who, in more ways than one, sought to challenge the status quo and reshape the world according to his vision of freedom and openness. Azim Premji, amount given, $21 billion. Causes, education and healthcare. Azim Premji, the founding chairman of Wipro Limited, is another signee of the Giving Pledge. In 2019, he dropped 15 positions in the Forbes India Rich list because he had given such substantial amounts to charity. Azim Premji is often described as a business titan and a philanthropic powerhouse, but his journey is far more nuanced and inspiring than those titles suggest. His life is a testament to resilience, simplicity, and a deep-seated sense of responsibility toward the world. To understand Azim Premji is to dive into the story of a man who transformed a small family business into one of the largest IT companies in the world, Wipro, and in parallel, revolutionized philanthropy in India. The early years, born on July 24, 1945 in Bombay, now Mumbai, Azim Hashim Premji came from a successful business family. His father, Mohammed Premji, founded Western India Vegetable Products Limited, which produced vegetable oil under the brand name Sunflower. From an early age, Azim was exposed to the world of business. His father's entrepreneurial spirit left a lasting impression on him, instilling values of hard work and prudence. However, no one could have foreseen the magnitude of what the young Azim would go on to achieve. The turning point in Azim's life came when he was just 21 years old. He was studying electrical engineering at Stanford University when he received tragic news. His father had passed away. Without hesitation, he returned to India to take over the family business. Many were skeptical of the young man's ability to steer the company through a competitive market, especially as the business was far removed from the high-tech world of his academic studies. From oil to IT, the transformation of Wipro. The 1960s in India were a time of protectionist policies and limited technological advancement. When Azim Premji took over the company in 1966, Wipro was a small manufacturer of cooking oil and hydrogenated fats. The company was well respected in its niche, but the technology boom that was transforming other parts of the world seemed distant from India. However, Azim had a vision. He was acutely aware of the rapid technological progress being made in Silicon Valley and saw an opportunity to diversify Wipro. He understood that India had a largely untapped reservoir of talent in engineering and software development. In the 1970s, long before the term information technology had become a buzzword, Premji began steering Wipro toward computer technology. This decision was not without its risks, and it required significant investment, not just in infrastructure, but in research, innovation, and people. One of Azim's core principles was that excellence came from empowering individuals. He created a company culture where employees were encouraged to innovate, experiment, and challenge the status quo. His leadership style was radically different from the autocratic, top-down management systems that dominated Indian businesses at the time. He was known for his humility, often eschewing luxurious corporate offices and flashy perks. Instead, he focused on ensuring that Wipro built a strong foundation of ethics, customer satisfaction, and employee empowerment. By the 1980s, Wipro had become a formidable player in the emerging IT landscape. The company's early focus on research and development paid off as it ventured into software services, systems integration, and consulting. Wipro was at the forefront of the Indian IT revolution, making Azim Premji one of the wealthiest individuals in India. Yet despite his growing wealth and success, Premji remained grounded. He continued to live a simple life, often flying economy class and shunning the excesses that many business leaders indulged in. The philanthropic turn. Azim Premji's wealth continued to grow exponentially, but he never let it define him. By the 2000s, he had built Wipro into one of the most valuable companies in India, with a global presence and a workforce numbering in the tens of thousands. But even as Wipro soared to new heights, Azim Premji's thoughts were increasingly occupied by the question, how can I give back? In 2001, Azim founded the Azim Premji Foundation, signaling a shift in his focus from business to philanthropy. The foundation's mission was simple but profound: to contribute to the quality of education in India, particularly in rural areas. Premji believed that education was the most powerful tool for social change, and he was committed to making a meaningful impact. What set Premji apart from many other philanthropists was the sheer scale of his commitment. Over the years, he donated billions of dollars to the foundation, making it one of the largest philanthropic organizations in India. By 2019, he had committed more than $21 billion to charitable causes, including 67% of his equity in Wipro. The Azim Premji Foundation worked not just on funding schools or scholarships, but also on improving the overall ecosystem of education. The foundation engaged in capacity building, teacher training, and curriculum development. Premji's approach was rooted in long-term, systemic change rather than short-term relief. He understood that transforming education in India would take decades, and he was in it for the long haul. In 2010, Azim Premji became the first Indian to sign the Giving Pledge, an initiative started by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, where billionaires commit to giving away the majority of their wealth to philanthropy. This act of generosity was no surprise to those who knew him. Premji had long been a private individual, rarely giving interviews and shunning the limelight. For him, wealth was not a status symbol. It was a resource to be deployed for the greater good. The legacy of a gentle giant. As of today, Azim Premji's legacy is one of both business excellence and extraordinary generosity. Under his stewardship, Wipro grew from a small family-owned business into a global IT giant. But perhaps even more remarkable than his business success is his deep commitment to philanthropy. Azim Premji's approach to life can be summed up in one of his own quotes: "Success is achieved twice, once in the mind and the second time in the real world." For him, success was never just about personal or financial gain. It was about making a meaningful impact on society. His philanthropic efforts have touched millions of lives, particularly in rural India, where access to quality education is still a major challenge. Even in his late 70s, Premji remains actively involved in both Wipro and his foundation. His leadership style is one of quiet humility, a sharp contrast to the loud, aggressive styles often associated with corporate success. He is a rare figure, a business magnate who has not only amassed great wealth, but has also dedicated himself to redistributing that wealth for the betterment of society. Azim Premji's life is a reminder that true success is not measured by personal achievements alone, but by the impact one has on the world. His journey, from a young man who inherited a cooking oil business to becoming one of the world's leading philanthropists, is nothing short of extraordinary. Through Wipro and his philanthropic efforts, he has demonstrated that it is possible to do well in business while doing good for society. In a world often driven by self-interest and short-term gains, Azim Premji stands as a beacon of integrity, humility, and social responsibility. Mackenzie Scott, amount given, $14 billion, causes, racial equality, LGBTQ+ equality, functional democracy, and climate change. One of the least high-profile of the world's top philanthropists, Mackenzie Scott, has used her fortune, inherited in her divorce from Jeff Bezos, to fund nonprofit organizations that fight against racial injustice, promote gender equality, and support public health initiatives. The Philanthropist, a story inspired by Mackenzie Scott. Mackenzie Scott sat at her kitchen table, sunlight streaming through the expansive windows of her modestly furnished home. Despite her status as one of the wealthiest women in the world, her surroundings remained simple, the kind of home where you'd feel at ease walking around barefoot. The coffee in her favorite mug, emblazoned with "Change is the only constant," had gone cold as she stared out the window, lost in thought. She'd always felt that a fortune was meant to be something other than idle. In her eyes, money was like energy, meant to flow, be used for change, and for the betterment of people. It had been 5 years since she'd made the bold decision to devote her wealth to charity, and in that time, Mackenzie had written checks for billions of dollars. She hadn't just given away money, she'd given away hope. It was still a little overwhelming. She was accustomed to working quietly, writing novels, and running her private life without fanfare, but now everything she did seemed to attract attention. Not that she cared for the spotlight. What mattered were the lives she could improve, the communities she could uplift, and the future she could shape. Today, however, she was mulling over a new idea, something different from her previous charitable endeavors. Mackenzie loved giving away money. It was freeing, exhilarating even, to decide on a whim to change someone's life. But today, she thought about how that change often started with a single person. What if she could hone in on big organizations or expansive projects instead of focusing on individuals? She didn't just want to give money to an organization that would eventually help someone. She tried to find someone herself. She grabbed her laptop and started drafting an email to her team. The subject line read, "A new kind of gift." "I've been thinking about shifting our focus for the next few months. Instead of large-scale donations, I want us to try something more direct. I want to meet individuals, people whose lives we can change personally. Let's start with communities where aid is needed most, but let's do it differently. We'll find the unsung heroes who are making things happen with few resources. Let's empower them directly." She hesitated for a moment before hitting send. Her mind spun with excitement at the thought of doing things differently. What if they could change not just institutions, but the very fabric of a person's life? What if one person, when given the means, could influence their entire community? Within an hour, her team responded enthusiastically. They were in, and within days, they were on the road. The first community they visited was a small West Virginia town nestled in the Appalachian Mountains. The area once thrived on coal mining, but with the industry's decline, Poverty and unemployment had swept through like an unstoppable force. The few remaining people were resilient, but they were clearly struggling. Mackenzie arrived without fanfare, with no public announcement of her visit. She liked it that way. She wanted to observe without the pressure of being recognized, and in this remote part of the country, that was easy to achieve. She had arranged to meet a local woman named Sandra, whom a local nonprofit had recommended. A mother of 3, Sandra was known for her work with the town's youth. Despite having little herself, Sandra had started a small after-school program for children whose parents worked multiple jobs. In the absence of resources, she used the town's aging library and a single donated laptop. She taught the children coding and encouraged them to think about life beyond their village. Mackenzie was captivated by the story. Sitting down with Sandra in the library, Mackenzie immediately felt her passion's warmth. "It's not much," Sandra said, gesturing to the outdated computers and sparse supplies. "But it's what we have. These kids need to know there's more out there for them, that their future doesn't have to be limited by what's happening here. If I can show even one of them that they can dream bigger." Mackenzie listened, her mind racing with possibilities. Here was someone doing the kind of work she admired, who saw the need for change and took action, even with nothing to spare. What could Sandra do with proper resources? The answer was simple. She could do everything. "What would you do if you had $500,000? Mackenzie asked suddenly. Sandra blinked in surprise, her mouth dropping open slightly. What? Mackenzie smiled. "If I gave you $500,000 right now, no strings attached, what would you do with it?" The silence in the room was palpable as Sandra tried to comprehend the question. Her hands trembled as she set down the pen she had been nervously tapping. "You're serious?" she whispered. "Very serious," Mackenzie replied, her voice calm but resolute. Tears welled in Sandra's eyes. "I would expand this program. I'd get more computers. I'd bring in other instructors who could teach them things I can't. I'd turn this into something bigger than I ever dreamed." Mackenzie smiled, her decision already made. "Then let's make that happen." In the following weeks, Mackenzie's journey took her to more small towns, neighborhoods, and forgotten corners of America. She found people like Sandra everywhere she went, individuals with immense potential, but without the means to realize it. She wrote checks, sure, but more importantly, she planted seeds. These were not just acts of charity, they were investments in people who, when given the chance, could uplift their entire communities. The media caught wind of her travels, and Mackenzie Scott's personal philanthropy initiative soon became the subject of headlines. One woman's mission to empower individuals, they called it. But for Mackenzie, it was about something other than the attention. It was about doing something that felt right, something she could feel in her bones. In one particularly emotional moment, she returned to visit Sandra. The library had been transformed into a vibrant learning center filled with new computers, books, and smiling children. Sandra hugged her tightly, tears once again in her eyes. "You didn't just change my life," Sandra said. "You've changed all of ours." Mackenzie nodded, her own heart full. "That's the goal," she said quietly. She felt a sense of peace as she left the center and looked up at the Appalachian Mountains. She had always known that money could be a powerful tool, but it was only now, seeing these lives transformed firsthand, that she truly understood the magnitude of what could be done. And this, she thought, was only the beginning. Michael Bloomberg, amount. Given, $12.7 billion. Causes: environment, public health, arts, government innovation, and education. This former New York mayor and presidential candidate is particularly concerned about climate change, inequality, public health, and gun safety. Bloomberg Philanthropies is designed to address as many of these issues as possible, donating billions in funds in the process. Li Ka-shing amount. Given, $10.7 billion. Causes: education, healthcare. This Hong Kong billionaire business magnate is known for his savvy investor credentials and generous philanthropic efforts. His estimated net worth is over $37 billion, and he owns the second-largest private foundation after Bill and Melinda Gates. He lives an extremely frugal lifestyle and has been awarded frequently for the size of his charitable contributions. Andrew Carnegie amount, given 9.5 billion causes, libraries, education, peace. Andrew Carnegie, a famous Scottish-American industrialist, died in 1919, but not before becoming one of the world's most generous philanthropists. In the last 18 years of his life, he gave away almost 90% of his fortune to charities, foundations, and universities. He wrote an article in 1889 about the gospel of wealth, calling on those with the resources to use their wealth to improve society, providing much of the inspiration behind modern philanthropic movements. One of the reasons that there are so many U.S. billionaires on the list of the world's top philanthropists might be, in part, thanks to the creation of the Giving Pledge. Founded in 2010 by Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Melinda Gates, the pledge is a promise by the world's wealthiest individuals and families to dedicate most of their wealth to charitable causes. When it was launched, 40 of America's richest people signed up to the commitment, aiming to set a new standard of generosity amongst the ultra-wealthy. Today, it has pledges from billionaires worldwide, and signatories help fund a diverse range of issues entirely of their own choosing. It is intended to be a multi-generational effort that will shift the social norms of philanthropy among the world's wealthiest and inspire people to give more, establish their giving plans sooner, and give in smarter ways. Wherever they are and however their fortunes were made, the billionaires who represent the top philanthropists in the world are making a huge difference in communities, society, and nations. Their action is a vital resource to the organizations that help those in need and champion the endeavors to improve the world. Their example is one to be applauded and emulated, even by those with less funds at their disposal. When anyone stands up to act and make a difference, the world is brighter for us all. The law of nature is that the more you have, the more you will receive scientific proof that every action reacts.